Wild weather. At least one person injured as tornadoes tear through parts of Wyoming and Colorado. This is a powerful thunderstorm produced this eerie-looking cloud, causing panic moments at an outdoor graduation ceremony in New Jersey. And there could be more severe weather today. Today exclusive, former Miss Pennsylvania USA speaks out in her first interview since she claimed the Miss USA competition was rigged. Does she stand by her story? Is she worried about Donald Trump's threat of a lawsuit? We'll ask her live. And how did he survive this? A skateboarder rolls into the street and is hit by a truck. Incredibly, he walked away with only cuts and bruises. He's even here to talk about his close call today, Friday, June 8th, 2012.
From NBC News, this is Today with Matt Lauer and Ann Curry, live from Studio 1A in Rockefeller Plaza.
And welcome today on this beautiful and very excited Friday morning. I'm Ann Curry.
And I'm Lester Holt in for Matt Lauer this morning. We stepped outside and cranked up the music because we got a big concert and a big crowd.
That's right, because superstar Chris Brown is going to be performing. All you've got to do is say his name and you get a cheer. And we also have, he did not disappoint, another huge crowd. He always is such a fantastic performer, but he also brings always a huge crowd. We've got people all the way across the street on 48th Street lined up all the way back, and people are very excited to be here today.
And then for a big treat, speaking of big crowds, millions will have their eyes on the Belmont Stakes this weekend. I'll have another in a position to become the first horse in 34 years to win the Triple Crown. Our own Natalie Morales spent some time out at the track, and when she wasn't gambling, she met up with, kidding Natalie, met up with the trainer and the horse to find out how everyone's feeling.
Or she was saying, I'll have another. Right. But also this morning, we'll be talking about a story that's really interesting. It's a mother of four who essentially, she had her stroller stolen. She decided to do something about it. She set up a sting operation and had the suspect arrested. In the process, she helped the police stop what police say was $1 million crime wave. So we're going to hear from her coming up this morning.
Lot to get to, but let's check up about the headlines of the morning. Natalie Morales inside at the news desk. Hey, Natalie.
Good morning, Lester and Ann, and good morning, everyone. UN patrols are facing gunfire as they attempt to investigate reports of another vicious massacre in Syria. NBC's Ayman Moyeldin is in Cairo with the latest. Ayman, what can you tell us?
Good morning, Natalie. The UN spent yesterday wrangling over what to do about Syria. Kofi Annan, the man who brokered the peace plan, conceded it is not working. He's trying to bring Russia and China on board to try and negotiate a new solution. China, for the first time, indicating that it is growing frustrated with Syria. It is calling on the Syrian government to halt violence. But as you mentioned, the UN on the ground trying to investigate the accounts of that massacre have been unable to reach the village where that massacre took place. They yesterday say the Syrian military denied them access. Violence across the country continues as activists say the Syrian military continues its assault on demonstrators, particularly on a day like this Friday that sees large crowds take to the streets after Friday prayers. Natalie.
Ayman Moyeldin reporting out of Cairo for us. Thank you, Ayman. And startling new statistics today as the Pentagon reports that nearly one service member commits suicide every day. 154 soldiers have committed suicide in the first 159 days of this year. That is 17% more than at the same time last year and more than the total number killed in action in Afghanistan so far this year. Lawmakers are taking a tough stance to fight leaks of highly classified information. Recent leaks about drone strikes and cyber attacks used in the war against terrorism has the House Intelligence Committee vowing to investigate how the information got out. The CIA and the Justice Department have declined to cooperate in the probe. Greek Communist Party leader and member of parliament says she will not press charges after the spokesman for a far right-wing party slapped her 3 times on television. The incident was touched off during a heated debate about the Greek financial crisis. The alleged assailant escaped the studio before police arrived, and prosecutors have issued a warrant for his arrest. A New York City train engineer has been suspended after a passenger caught him on tape reading a newspaper while operating a rush hour train. The MTA says all crew members are being told that reading anything at all while operating a train is not acceptable. And Mrs. Doubtfire has never looked scarier. Check out what happens when the trailer for the comedy is recut as a horror film.
Hello?
Hello?
I'm calling in regards to the ad I read in the paper.
Yes. Well, would you tell me a little bit about yourself?
Oh, certainly, dear.
Well, the clip is going viral, but after seeing that, it might be hard to watch Mrs. Doubtfire with the lights off ever again. Not sure Robin Williams would like that version of it. It is 7:06 right now. Let's go back outside to Al with a huge crowd of your people.
That's right. That video is terrific. All right, Natalie, thanks so much. We've got some kind of scary video to show you. Starting off in Wyoming, this is Chugwater, Wyoming. The video, please. Let's go to the Wyoming video, and you can see. It's like Pavlov's director. He can't help himself. We've got the storm chasers within 100 yards of the twister. Funnel clouds, mini twisters. Unfortunately, one injury. 5 homes seriously damaged. Imagine this at your high school graduation. This is Galloway, New Jersey. Graduation for Abergavenny High School. Thunder, lightning, high winds, a funnel cloud. They were about an hour into the ceremony. The kids are tossing hats and gowns, and then they are running for cover. Luckily, no serious injuries reported. Now the maps, and we'll show you we've got 3 areas of severe weather from the Dakotas, also the upper Mississippi River Valley, northern New England, and upstate New York. Possibility of isolated tornadoes. And our friends down in Florida, a moist flow of tropical air continues to hound them. They're going to be looking at anywhere from 1 to 5 inches of rain in northern and central Florida. And now here's Lester.
Al, thanks. Now to Wall Street, where investors hope the winning streak can last another day. After plunging 275 points a week ago, the Dow has surged over the last 3 days. Jim Cramer is the host of CNBC's Mad Money. Jim, good morning. Good to see you.
Good morning, Lester.
A week ago, the sky was falling. Bad unemployment number came out. We lost all the gains of the year. And then this. Explain it.
This is all about the idea that maybe we'll get a resolution of all the problems that we have in Europe. Europe is the focus, Lester, not the United States, because they're falling apart right now.
So the unemployment number, we saw that reaction. That was really not a reaction so much to that, but Europe.
Right. Well, we have been one of the, I'd say, a bastion of strength around the world. But no matter how hard we try to get things terrific in our country, they can pull us down. I know it sounds strange to people at home, but Spain is more powerful right now than our Federal Reserve.
I keep hearing these mixed signals that American companies are actually doing well, but they're sitting on their hands. They're not hiring, and that's because of Europe?
They're cash rich and confidence poor. And the lack of confidence comes from belief that Europe is going to have what we had in 2008, 2009. Yes, they are that weak, and they can hurt us.
What's the tipping point for problems there spilling over and driving our economy back down?
If we see TV bank lines, people trying to pull their money out of Spain, that will be the signal that Europe has to act, or else we're going to feel it here. Our large international companies do a huge amount of business, Lester, over there. And those people that might have to be laid off over there will also call layoffs over here.
And last week when we saw the Dow plunge in those unemployment numbers, people were talking double dip recession again, that we might be on the cliff. Are we teetering on the cliff again?
No, I don't want to be that negative. I think that what's happened is we were really starting to build a head of steam. And Europe has taken all the wind out of our sails. But we are too strong to be brought down. We just won't be able to keep hiring like we were last year. The big worry is hiring, and we don't want to hire.
Are companies sitting on the sidelines, sitting on their hands, in part because they're waiting to see the outcome of November, the presidential election?
I wish it were that, because we're going to get an outcome, and you would think that no matter who wins, we'd get better. No. It's about Europe. If we see a deal this weekend, our market goes up. There is talk of a deal this weekend, but we should stop focusing on our Federal Reserve and our government and hope that Angela Merkel, who runs Germany, comes to her senses, makes a deal, help the world.
Jim Cramer, good to have you on. Thanks very much. You can catch Jim and Mad Money weeknights at 6 and 11 p.m. Eastern Time on CNBC. It is 7:10. Here's Ann.
All right, Lester, thanks. Now to the first federal survey to ask teenagers about how often they text while driving. Well, according to the Secretary of Transportation, the results reveal a national epidemic. NBC's Janet Shamley is in Los Angeles with more on this story. Hey, Janet, good morning.
And good morning to you. We knew teen drivers were doing this, but how widespread the practice wasn't known until now. These are startling numbers from young people who are owning up to distracted driving.
It's no secret that teens text and drive.
But the statistics from the first federal study on the subject are alarming. More than half of high school seniors, 58%, admitted they've sent a text or email from behind the wheel.
I'll respond to the text, or I'm telling my friend, oh, hey, I'm 5 minutes away, get ready for me.
It's the way teens talk to each other, sending and receiving an average of 100 messages a day, often while driving, despite years of public service campaigns designed to deliver a bone-crunching warning. The Centers for Disease Control report did find teens are safer on the road in other ways, more seatbelt use and less drinking and driving. But experts say texting can be even more dangerous.
It's frustrating that while we're making great progress in increasing seatbelt use and reducing the number of kids who are driving while drinking, other safety issues pop up in their place related to new technology.
Guilty.
And now, new laws to deal with the consequences. On Wednesday, a Massachusetts teen was among the first convicted under a texting and driving law. The now 18-year-old will spend a year in jail for a fatal accident that happened while he was texting.
The simple fact is people continue to be killed and injured despite the fact these deaths are 100% preventable.
So why do teens do it?
We think we're invincible, just no one thinks it's going to happen to them, no one thinks they're going to get in that accident. You hear about it all the time, but you never really think that that could actually happen to you.
Now, this texting data is part of a broader national report on risky behavior by teens. But, Ann, this is the very first time that the teens were asked about their behavior in the car, behind the wheel, texting and driving.
All right, Janet Shamley, important information this morning for all parents and teenagers. It is now 7:12. Here's Lester.
All right, and thanks. The city of Rapid City, South Dakota is probably best known for its proximity to Mount Rushmore. But 40 years ago, a flash flood put that city on the map for a very different reason. NBC's Kevin Tibbles is in Rapid City this morning for us. Kevin, good morning.
Lester, on that day 40 years ago, the panicked residents of Rapid City would have been frantically searching for loved ones, swept away by a wall of water that wiped out much of this town. Today they pause to remember, but also celebrate what Rapid City has now become. 40 years ago, in June of 1972, Rapid City resembled a war zone, rather than the picturesque little city nestled beside Mount Rushmore and the Black Hills of South Dakota.
We'll begin this evening with the tragic flood story in South Dakota.
And the property damage will be in the tens of millions of dollars.
Jim Simpson was 9 years old.
But when the lightning would flash, you would get these black and white snapshots of hell.
A massive flash flood roared out of the hills, sweeping away everything in its path, including Simpson and his 18-year-old sister-in-law, Claudia.
Claudia went one direction and I went another, and I ended up in one of these trees down here, and
never saw her again.
Never saw her again.
Claudia was among 238 people who died in the deluge brought on by 15 inches of rain in just 6 short hours. Simpson clung to the tree until being rescued by the National Guard. Total devastation. More than 1,300 homes and businesses swept away, along with 5,000 cars.
No one knows precisely how many people were left homeless by these floods.
Damages topped $100 million even 40 years ago.
It looked just like a junkyard out here. And there was a cloud of death that just surrounded the entire Rapid Creek area through the city here.
Don Barnett was the city's mayor back then. He was only 29 years old. He'd never been on national TV before.
I sincerely hope that by the end of next week we can begin to do some construction to put these suffering people into homes.
For survivors like the Brunice family, the muck and misery was overwhelming. Mother, father, and all 6 children survived.
I remember the sounds. I remember the trees being down, the chaos, and then I remember the people.
Their home somehow remained standing, but was full of debris. Still, Ken Brunice vowed to remain in Rapid City.
Chances are it won't happen again in our lifetime.
Is Trudy going to come up in a lane?
Today, he is 86 years old. And you weren't going to let the flood chase you out?
No. We'd have probably built right back on the creek if we could have.
But no new homes would ever be built along Rapid Creek again. Families were relocated to higher ground. Instead, the city went about creating an elaborate and beautiful series of parks, bike paths, and golf courses.
You know, the scar that was the flood in '72 is the beauty that we have now.
Oh, I'm so proud of this city. I just can't believe it sometimes. New and wonderful things have happened in Rapid City. It's one of the most progressive and beautiful cities in the Great Plains.
Jim Simpson will never forget that harrowing night spent clinging to a tree, and he is proud of what his city has become.
There was that element of, from this, you had to basically get right back, rebuilding your life.
And while the people of Rapid City will never forget that day, many here do agree the city is a better place as a result of that flood. As for that young 9-year-old boy, Jim Simpson, who spent the night clinging to a tree, well, he's now the general manager here at the NBC affiliate in Rapid City. Lester, back to you.
All right, Kevin Tibbles this morning, thank you.
A check of the weather from Al.
We have a beautiful morning out here for the Chris Brown concert. Look at this crowd stretching from 48th Street. I mean, it is huge. All the way down to Rockefeller Plaza in front of 30 Rock. We've got wall-to-wall people. Fantastic morning. What about tomorrow in the Belmont Stakes? That's a big deal. We are talking about partly sunny, warm, humid, and a 40% chance of afternoon showers and thunderstorms as the official horse of Kathy Lee Gifford, I'll Have Another, goes for the Triple Crown. Let's look at Saturday's forecast. We got a slight risk of strong storms in the northern plains, heavy rain in the central Gulf, sizzling from Texas into the southwest, few showers in the northeast. Sunday, we're expecting more strong storms in the northern plains, lots of sizzling heat from Texas on into the southwest with lots of sunshine. In 30 minutes, these folks will belong to Chris Brown, but until then, my people! My people! My people! And...
All right, Al. I think Al enjoys that a little too much. It's fun to watch, though. Coming up next, a mom who fought back against the person who stole her stroller, and she uncovered $1 million crime wave, according to police. We're going to hear from her. And a modern-day remix from Mr. Rogers that is moving people online. But first, these messages.
Things you'd like to have.
We're back now at 7:43 with a mother of 4 who helped police uncover $1 million crime wave, all because someone stole her baby stroller. Rob Stafford from WMAQ, our station in Chicago, has the details. Rob, good morning.
Good morning, Lester. State prosecutors have filed new charges in the case this week. You know, Chicago's seen a lot of crimes over the years, but never something quite like this. And it was a working mom named Tia trying to get that stroller back who helped catch the thief. That's the guy.
Yes.
The man in this surveillance footage stole Tia's stroller off her front porch. Did this thief have any idea who he was messing with?
I don't think so.
Tia, a married mother of 4, reported the theft to police, then heard about a Craigslist post for a used stroller just like hers. So she set up a sting and met the seller in a grocery store parking lot. The police arrived and made an arrest after he showed up with the goods. The moment he realized you'd set him up, what did he say?
He wanted his attorney.
The man, Jicheng Liu, faced a minor charge of petty theft and was released. Tia got her stroller back and, just to be sure, sent an email out to her neighbors to be extra vigilant. But then strange things began to happen. Bills for pornographic magazines arrived. Takeout food was delivered late at night. And that wasn't all. Male prostitutes.
Male prostitute
showed up at your house. Someone was using the internet to harass Tia's family. Later, police involved in the case were maliciously smeared on various internet sites. One post accused an officer of dealing drugs, another of molesting children, and the thefts on Chicago's North Side continued.
It was frustrating to see a neighborhood that we loved so much and that we were so invested in fall victim to petty crimes.
Then a lead. Security cameras caught this man walking into an apartment building. He appears to be talking on his cell phone as he scans the lobby, then grabs delivered packages and walks right out the front door. Prosecutors say the trail of evidence, including the internet address used to harass Tia, led to a townhome in this upscale Chicago neighborhood. And what police found inside was beyond anything anyone on the force or Tia expected.
When they opened up the garage and then opened up the curtains to his kitchen and dining room, I was shocked.
Among the items investigators recovered, some 200 bicycles, 200 strollers, 100 sets of golf clubs. Also recovered 87 garage door openers labeled with the corresponding addresses. In all, prosecutors say more than $1 million in stolen property.
It was like a scene out of Hoarders because there were just all these items stacked on top of one another, and items many times that were still in the original package that was intended to the victim.
Jicheng Liu now faces 24 felony indictments for burglary, cyberstalking, and other internet crimes. He pleaded not guilty. For Tia, knowing she helped authorities end this crime spree brings satisfaction and surprise.
I kept thinking to myself that I can't believe he tried to sell my stroller. The one item he tried to sell, even though he kept thousands of items, he tried to sell my stroller, and I felt vindicated that I, for some reason, was in the right place at the right time to help the community.
Jicheng Liu is now being held on a $600,000 cash bond, and police say burglary in Tia's neighborhood has dropped 72% since his arrest. Lester?
Rob Stafford in Chicago. Thanks. Up next, the skateboarder who is lucky to be alive after being hit by a truck. Boom. In fact, he didn't even break a bone. We're going to talk to him exclusively right after this.
Now at 7:50 with a startling skateboarding accident caught on camera. The video may be disturbing, but not only did the skater survive, he walked away without breaking a bone. Serge Murphy is the skateboarder in that video. His friend Andrew McNamara was filming at the time, actually videotaping at the time, and they are now along with Murphy's attorney, Michael Mimno. Good morning to all of you and welcome. What goes through your mind as you think about that tape? I mean, what are the emotions?
Just shocked and surprised, I guess.
Other skateboarders have tried this. It's called jumping the rail, is my understanding, and they went down the alley, but they stopped before they got to the street. I mean, did you realize the jeopardy you were putting yourself in by going into the street?
I mean, I was aware of my surroundings, yeah.
Up until the truck hit you.
Well, yeah, of course.
And you flew 35 feet. You're just tumbling. I don't know if you can, I think you fly so fast it's even hard to see you. There you go. And yet, how do you explain how you did not break a bone? What were your injuries, actually?
I had some cuts on my back, and my hip was just really swollen and bruised.
You stood up and walked away from this?
I wouldn't say I just stood up and walked away.
I was in some pain.
The ambulance came, and I went in the ambulance and went to the hospital.
We should note this was a year ago, right?
This was a year ago.
And you just recently posted it. Andrew, you're videotaping this. You're looking through the viewfinder, and we have the benefit of watching this knowing that everything turns out okay. But when you're seeing this, are you assuming he's a dead man?
Yeah, definitely. That's why I don't really move. I just kind of stand there in shock because I thought he was dead. So everyone asked why I didn't run over to him or anything, and it was just because I thought he was probably
Nobody
dead.
can survive that, right?
No, that's definitely what I thought. So yeah, that's why I kind of stand there in shock and don't do anything.
Meantime, Serge, I know that you brought for this interview your mom and your girlfriend and some other friends. And I understand your girlfriend tells me that she did not yell at you, but mom yelled at you. Do you have a takeaway on this? I mean, what did she say to you, and what's your lesson from this experience?
I couldn't really remember what exactly she said, but I'm assuming it was, don't skate in the street anymore.
You better tell him again, Mom. You're going to tell him again. Don't say.
Well, it's a good thing you had your helmet on. Oh, that's right, you didn't have a helmet. I'm sorry, yeah.
By the way, you're
so
here.
I'm a father.
By the way, you're here because there is some issue regarding the damage of the truck. Is that right?
There are claims that are being brought against Serge right now. And to the extent that there will be a defense brought for Serge.
We're glad you're all here. Glad you're live to tell the story.
Thank you.
We're back with much more, including Chris Brown live in concert after the news.
5, 4, 3